Howdy, hey, howdy, hi. I'm Lynx, and welcome back to the channel. Or if this is your first time, welcome, Starlight. This is going to be the first of many videos like this. I'll take a Pokemon that I like, or maybe just the idea of the Pokemon, and I'll tweak it and fix it to better suit whatever whimsy I have flowing through me at the time. Today's victim, subject, is Dragonite. Now, I do love Dragonite. He's cute, he's orange, he's silly and happy. How could I not love him? Well, I can't stand that he's the final evolution of Dratini. If he was his own evolution, just his own standalone Pokemon, I wouldn't have so much of a problem with him. But considering he's the final evolution of Dratini, from Dratini to Dragonair into Dragonite, name-wise, I love that. Visually, not so much. It bothers me just seeing the evolution from small blue little noodle to being slightly larger blue noodle into suddenly a cut character from Dragon Tales. I don't know, man. Something about that really doesn't sit with me. A few years ago, before I was serious on Twitch or YouTube, I had a lot of free time on my hands, and so I would watch artists on YouTube who happened to redesign Pokemon that they didn't like themselves, or Pokemon that they did like, but they wanted to like them more. And I thought, I could do that. Why not me? Dragonite's a great character, but he could use a little TLC, if you know what I mean.
TLC is in tender loving care or totally lost cause.
And plus, I needed the extra excuse to practice my art, and for some reason, Dragonite. What more can I say? So today, I'll be showing that first design process, and then I will show you how I, in about a year and a half of letting that first idea sit in my head, how I redesigned it. But with a small little twist. Let's begin, shall we? Before we get too deep into the actual footage of who this Pokemon I made is, I want to explain a few things first. First, I want to do a sort of disclaimer of a sort. Whenever I make Pokemon art, whether it be a hypothetical, completely new Pokemon, or some type of redesign or regional variant, I'm doing it in a sense of, what if I had my own region, and this is my art for this new hypothetical generation of Pokemon? With that in mind, Dragonite is not being replaced by this new evolution that I'm giving Dratini, and more so, he's just no longer a part of the Dratini line. But, now that that's said and done, let's get into the actual concept art, shall we? Okay, so let me explain the concept that even allowed this Pokemon to come into existence. So of course it was meant to take Dragonite's place in the Dratini line, but more than that, I had no real idea what I wanted other than another, long dragon. This was made before I truly understood that Pokemon had actual concepts behind their design, and weren't just animals that we thought would be funny looking this other way. I didn't fully get it. So this one is kind of just the cooler, longer Dratini. I really didn't have much to go on. I had tried to find ways to mix Dragonite into a more Asianic dragon body type, adding aspects from other flying Pokemon or cloud-looking Pokemon, since that was the only true idea I had besides dragon. I knew I wanted cloud vibes to add to the flying type, but other than that, I can't even tell you what I was thinking back then. Eventually, I got to this borderline Dragon Ball looking design, which at the time I was beyond happy with, and you'll see small hints of this design in its redesign, but not by much. The spears that float around it were meant to be some type of condensed pearls of energy? Question mark? Maybe of like the sea or water or rain or storms, I don't know. I can't tell you what past Lynx was thinking, but it looks cool, so that's what we got. I decided I would name this Pokemon with a mix of two different words that I thought just kind of fit the line. A mix of dragon and breeze. So, his name is Dragese. A fitting name, in my opinion. And now that we've seen where we started, let me take it 0 to 100 real quick. With that in mind, I may or may not have created some regional variants for Dratini and Dragonair that I kind of want to show you first. Are you ready? So, for Dratini, I didn't want to change too much from its original design, since I really like how they look. And it's sort of more of a attitudinal change for this regional variant than it is design-wise. But I wanted to hint towards its final evolution in its baby stage. So it's kind of a mix of an eel and sort of a tadpole-y looking creature. It's not much to look at, but the idea is there, so just hear me out. The little fin on top of its head is meant to replace the gill-like ones that original Dratini has, and is also one of those traits I was talking about that is alluding to its final evolution. And if you so feel up to it, feel free to guess what real-life creature I've based the final evolution on. When I started getting into the coloring, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do for the colors. I tried the original colors, but like slightly altered. But in the end, you'll see that I completely wiped that idea and went for something different. I had to bounce back and forth between a few different colors. But in the end, I'm kind of happy with what I came up with. The rendering job, the colors, all of it, I think I did good. So, let me know what you think. Introducing my regional variant of Dratini. Hylias Dratini. The Hylias Dratini is known to be a curious little creature often found in towns near lakes and rivers. Their playful curiosity often gets them in trouble, giving some people the impression that to see a Dratini is a sign of bad weather. I thought it would be a really cool tribute to make the shiny variants the colors of the original Dratini with like a little desaturation. How do you guys feel about it? Did I change it too much? Maybe not enough? Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, next up is Dragonair, which I think is the one that changed the most from original to variant. Dragonair is based on a hog-nosed snake. I thought the little guys were just too cute not to use. And plus, it makes a really good transition from Dratini's little nose mouth bump thingy, I don't know what to call it. But his little round face thing, and a good way to just morph from that and to expand upon it. So I gave it a little bit of a sharper look to the normal Dragonair, and kept some of the aspects that I was using, like the balls on its neck and tail, and giving it a little more definition and intentional use. So the balls on its neck and tail are supposed to be this sort of source of power, this kind of focus of power. And I'm using it through Dratini all the way to the new Dragese. And it really does play into the characteristics and personality of each Pokemon. So where Dratini is a curious child that unintentionally brings trouble, Dragonair is more of the moody middle-stage teenager who brings trouble because everyone around it has expected it. And so it kind of still struggles with fully controlling all of its power, but it also uses said powers out of spite, only affirming the hatred that it has had. I do love me a tragic, moody Pokemon. From sunshine to rain and personality, it fits surprisingly well. Dragonair is a lot closer to what the final design of Dragese looks like, but it's still its own creature, and I'm hoping doing that will help the line feel more consistent, which is why I started this little design challenge in the first place. I think I struggled most with this one's colors in comparison to Dratini, but in the end, I'm still pretty happy with the end product. Meet Hylius Dragonair. Wild Hylius Dragonair are known to be spiteful of humans that fear their power. Wild Hylius Dragonair are known to be spiteful of humans that fear their powers. When Dragonair has been spotted in a certain body of water, fishermen will start to bring offerings to the Pokemon in hopes to calm its spiteful spirit, keeping it from causing strong currents that will wreck their ships or drown them. I'm so happy with how this Pokemon has grown from how I saw it in my head about a year and a half ago. There are a few things I can see that I might want to change a little in the future, but for now, I'm happy with it and ready to move on to the main event. I just wanted to let everyone know that before we get into the final design, I've got a little message. Little typical YouTuber stuff. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. We love having all of you here. But more importantly, I have commissions open over on my Ko-fi page, which is linked down below. I've got a goal over there as well. If I can get enough support to this goal, I'm going to open a store, an online store where I'll sell art prints, sticker sheets, charms, and more. And if you're interested in grabbing one of those commission slots before they run out, I'm only keeping them open until they're gone. Once I've hit the end of how many I've got available, that'll be it for a while. I gotta take a couple months break. In between schooling and doing all the art, I need a little rest. So, if you're wanting to help support me by donating a Ko-fi to keep me caffeinated and motivated, head down into the description and follow the link to my Ko-fi page. There'll be an area specifically for commissions and another with the donation goal. Be sure to check all that out, even if you're just taking a glimpse at my art that I've got posted there. Alright, enough with all this. Let's look at Dragese! Righto, so this design is going to have the most back and forth between what I want to have This is the moment where I'll ask everyone in the comments what creature Dragese is based off of. I'll give you about 30 seconds to put in those final decisions before I reveal it. And if you cheat, I will know. Does everyone have their guesses? If you skipped ahead, I see you. But for all of you who did this the right way, Dragese is based off of an oarfish, also known as the Doomsday Fish. All the lore of this Pokemon up to this moment was to build up to this moment right here. Dragese is revealed to be the true sign of harsh tides and rough seas, similar to an actual oarfish, which at the time of me designing this had shown up twice in the year, nearly back to back, which has myths around it about being how seeing an oarfish on the beach is a sign of a doomsday, when in reality it's actually just a sign of harsher seas that have taken this deep sea fish and launched it ashore, killing the poor thing from the shift of water pressure and being on land for too long. Dragese is my little sea king, and when I say little, I do mean huge. Oarfish are known to be one of the longest deep sea fish in the sea, as far as my understanding goes. So I wanted to make sure to keep that since I feel it fits the whole terror factor of how scary it would be to see one of these in the actual Pokemon world, either on the beach or hanging around a certain town or area. As you can see, I went back and forth with how I was going to pose Draggies. I didn't know if I wanted to stay focused on the Sea King aspect, draw it in the same pose as an actual oarfish, or draw it more like a snake or what. I don't really know. Luckily, I eventually figured something out, but the design still took me the longest out of all of them. The jump from the original to the redesign was pretty drastic, so I really shouldn't be surprised. Looking back at him now, the stones around its neck look a little bit like the necklace that Porcus the Ace wears in One Piece. Any One Piece fans know what I'm talking about? No? Just me? Okay, moving on. After a few more color changes and testing some possible shiny variations, we're done! Presenting my pride and joy, Hylius Draggies! Draggies is the guardian of the sea, but humans of the Hylius region believe this rare Pokemon is a sign of harsh weather and bad tides. But Draggies no longer has any hate towards the humans and goes out of its way to warn humans of incoming storms. I'm not only happy with the design of this Pokemon, but the story behind it. From curious child to spiteful teen to the adult who does what must be done. The character growth and the visuals have got to be my favorite part of this Pokemon. And using Dragonite's colors for the shiny was a fun little throwback. That's all I have for now. Do you like this new style of video? Do you have any Pokemon you'd like me to work with next to redesign, or even just possible type combos to make completely new Pokemon? Leave it all in the comments below and I'll take a look over them. Don't forget to do all that YouTube stuff, liking, subscribing, look in the description for those links to the Ko-fi page, mayhaps. I think I hear my stove calling me. I must have left my laundry on for too long. Well, I better go take care of that before I burn my clothes. Alright, it's been fun. Have a safe trip home, Starlight, and I'll see you in the next video. Signing off!